gun industry drama. It has been a minute since we have done one of these. And speaking of drama, Finn has gotten a hold of my favorite hat. And as you can see, he has done some damage. Bad. It's pretty difficult to stay mad at him, though. Unlike Sig Sauer. Shall we recap? Today, for Sig Sauer, it ends. That was then, and it obviously has not ended. And to boot, Sig Sauer has decided to step in it yet again, and they have updated their manual. And boy, it's got some good stuff in here. And I went and pulled the manual myself to make sure that it was real. Here's a screenshot of me pulling it off of sigsauer.com. It's real. This is the 2025 manual, which is, if you just Google Sig manual right now, they will not bring that one up. You actually have to go and find this new manual. It defaults because you know how Google works with search results and what's been searched the most and, you know, all that sort of stuff. But this new manual has got some nuggets in it. This video was brought to you by Medical Gear Outfitters. They are my go-to stop for all things medical. It doesn't matter whether you need something that just holds a bunch of Band-Aids and maybe some aspirin or something like that, or if you need an actual trauma kit. If you don't have a trauma kit in your house or in your vehicle, then I highly suggest that you go check our people out at Medical Gear Outfitters, and they offer all of you a discount. You can find all that information over at the affiliates page and all the relevant places, and use that to great effect. All right, Kurt, who cares? It's a user manual. Never in the history of ever has anyone ever opened their user manual for a handgun that they have purchased. That, my good sir or lady, is a valid point. However, I present to you Exhibit A. This is on page 5. The most effective safety is to carry your pistol without a round in the chamber and to load a round in the chamber only when ready to fire. I'm going to start out with a word of caution to whoever is in charge of communications at Sig Sauer. My advice to you is to accept everything that you are getting right now and shut the fuck up. No angry posts on X, no Facebook posts, no Instagram photos, no emails, no C&D letters, no nothing. There is nothing that you can do now that will do anything but make this situation worse. So I advise you to, Dave.
I would fuck up. Shut the fuck up.
You go as far as to advocate in your user manual that people do the antithesis of what I'm going to guess is just a reasonable guess. 95% of modern firearms instructors are going to advise against what you just said. If you are in your manual telling people that they should carry a weapon unloaded, which is what you just said, that goes against every piece of self-defense with a firearm doctrine that I have been taught my entire adult life. Absolutely not. For you to do that tells me that you are concerned about that weapon possibly discharging, and you're putting that in your manual so that you say, well, did you read the manual? In the manual, it says not to carry a round in the chamber, and you violated that, so you went against the safety recommendations of the product. I've been working in the firearms industry for over a decade now, and I have actually opened a user manual or two, and I never recalled seeing anything like this, so I just quickly did a browse on a couple just to see, and I checked Glock, and they don't have anything like that in their manual. I checked High Point. I didn't see anything like that in theirs, and they're advocating for Israeli carry, so I I checked IWI and they don't have anything like that in theirs either. Although I will say that they do give a very good explanation on how to treat a squib load. I'm sure that there's probably an Israeli joke to be mined out of there somewhere, but we simply don't have time for that today because even though they just advocated for one of the most asinine things that I have ever seen, there's more. Abusive handling. Here we go. Sig Sauer firearms incorporate effective mechanical safeties. Timeout. They are so proud of this thing. Never have I ever seen a company that is so proud of basically taking a shortcut on their firearm to the point where they took the existing gun, cut the hammer off of it, shoved a striker-fired device into it, and said, we copied everybody else's homework and now we're done. So proud. So very proud. Let's continue. However, like any mechanical device, exposure to abusive conditions may harm these safety mechanisms and cause them to fail to work as designed. Do not subject the Sig Sauer firearm to any abusive handling. This includes the firearm being dropped, impact to the firearm, or the firearm being struck by another object. Always maintain control of the firearm. If the firearm suffers an abusive event, such as previously described, or experiences a malfunction, do not attempt to use the firearm. Keep the firearm pointed in a safe direction, unload and clear the firearm of all ammunition immediately, and have it inspected by a certified Sig Sauer armorer before using the firearm. So Sig has just admitted that they have problems, okay? I don't know what else you want. I don't know how else you can interpret that other than to put it right in the manual. Don't drop our stuff. So what do the other companies, while I was doing that previous browsing, what does Glock have to say about dropping their gun? They have tested their gun down to some really cold temperatures to figure out if it can be dropped or not. And IWI goes into detail on how to properly pick up a firearm after you've dropped it. And unlike the SIG manual, it does not include... Okay, look, as someone who owns tens of thousands of dollars of SIG products, and I like most of those guns, I can say that I don't own one of these, and I'm never going to own one of these because this is what we call a clue. And this right here, these two things that I've showed you here today are embarrassing. Like, I would just take my SIG 320 and I would let no one know that I own one of those things because I feel like this is like the Bud Light thing. Like, people are going to start asking when you're going to start wearing armor on your bottom half or something like that. SIG is embarrassing themselves in a big, big way. Look, you made a mistake. There's something up. We can see that there's something up. And you can't sweep it anymore. Right? You can't. No matter how many times you tell us that it isn't happening, the evidence is out there, man. And no matter what you do about it now, the genie's out of the bottle. And the only thing that you're doing at this point in time is making it worse. So you should do the right thing. And maybe you've done the right thing already and you've corrected the issue. Stop talking about it because, like I said, you're only making it worse. I want to know what you guys think in the comment section down below. Happy weekend, everybody, if you do that sort of thing.